If you haven't heard already, there are massive changes coming on June 27th that have the potential to completely change the way you play Guild Wars 2. ArenaNet released a preview of the upcoming balance patch on the official forums. The notes themselves are quite lengthy, so in this video series, I'm going to go over the changes to every class, give you my thoughts on how they may affect the meta, as well as talk about new builds that may emerge as a result. At the end of the video, let me know what you think about the changes in the comments below.
As for Ranger, these are pretty cool changes overall. So instead of having Monarch Sleep, which is the second sword skill for Ranger, I think okay. So when they demonstrated it in the in game, like in their like dev version of the game, whatever, it was just the straight up like pounce skill, which was the old like third part of the sword auto chain from like way back when Guild Wars 2 first came out. Hopefully they didn't show off the damage numbers on it, but like I do really like the synergy here, right? Because they moved Serpent Strike to the third instead of like kind of swirling around your enemy in like a half circle. Now you dash directly to your enemy. It applies poison and cripple, which is nice, but if they're already movement impaired or disabled, it will immobilize instead, which is pretty cool because that has synergy with the sword too, where it's when you strike someone that is movement impaired or disabled, it deals increased damage. So I don't know what the increased damage is going to be. Maybe it's like 100% damage increase, kind of like Dagger 4 and Spellbreaker, for example. But like being able to like sword 3 and then sword 2 for like huge damage is actually pretty cool. So I'm curious to see what the damage numbers are on this. If the numbers are good, then I can see sword actually being a good main hand weapon. If not, then I don't think people are going to take it over greatsword. Maybe you'll see some sword dagger greatsword builds, which could be fun to mess around on. But I actually really like this. And then yeah, again, Serpent Strike is an evade, so you always get the evade. That is really nice. The spirit changes are interesting. We have to see what the actual like active effects are on them, like when the spirits like slam on the ground and what the initial effects are. But if they're strong, maybe you can slot one spirit in a PvP build. Otherwise, I still don't think spirits are going to be taken. But overall, being able to summon them from range is a nice quality of life change for PvE, maybe for World vs. World as well. This is a PvE change for Farsighted. This one's cool as well. So Strider Strength. So this is the middle master trait in skirmishing. Currently, the way it works is when you dodge an attack or successfully evade, you get quickness for like 1.5 seconds every 5 seconds, and you get like extra like sword CDR. But now it just gives you extra power in general, and then additional power when you're wielding a sword, and you gain might when you evade an attack. So you'll probably get, when you're wielding sword, I would assume you'd get 240 power, which is actually a nice little bonus. And then the might is always helpful as well. If the might does not have an eternal cooldown on it, this could potentially be really good, because if you evade a ton of attacks, you'll gain a lot of might, which can increase your damage for like the sword 3, sword 2. So I'm actually pretty excited to play around with the sword changes. I think it looks pretty fun. Yeah, so as for rejuvenation, this is the nature magic minor adept trait, where it gives you regeneration when you're struck below 50% health. So on a 10-second cooldown, you get struck below 50% health, you get 3.25 seconds of regen, which heals you for 400 health. Extremely underwhelming. I don't know if they're removing the internal cooldown on it, because currently it's 10, but if you always get regen when you use a beast skill, I guess that's pretty good. Or it's decent. I mean, like, I don't think it's not a huge change, maybe like a nice quality of life change, but overall like a very, very minimal impact. Okay, so instinctive reaction. This is, wait, there's no way this is the heal, right? I don't think it's the heal. Hold on. So instinct. Yeah. Oh yeah, these are just the nature magic rework. So instead of gaining quickness when you get struck below, let's see, what's it? It's 50% HP. You grant regen to nearby allies when you use a healing skill. You know, honestly, coupled with druid, because they changed druid as well, maybe you can take this with like, I don't even know, like it would synergize with this, right? Where is it? The region. Actually, wait. Oh, it would synergize with Windborn Notes here. So this is the master trait, and then this would be the adept. But like Ranger can't really give a ton of AoE regen. Like, yes, we can, but it's like not that many sources of it. So I still think like it's kind of underwhelming unless like they make it so CA skills, like let's say pulse regen with every tick, right? Like then that this would be quite I don't want to say quite strong, but it would definitely be a lot better than it is currently. I don't think Rangers have enough sources of regen to actually make it worth it. Maybe like Healing Spring. You can maybe take it with Healing Spring. So like Skirmishing, Nature Magic, Druid potentially. This is a really good change. So the buff to Evasive Purity is nice. You won't be able to take this if you take Windborn Notes. However, removing a damaging condition and a non-damaging condition every time you dodge is actually quite strong as a survivability skill. So this is actually it's a good change. It's pretty good. Spirited Arrival, I'm assuming when you summon spirits, they now give you might instead of vigor. I don't think that's really going to change much because people still probably aren't going to run spirits. Wait. Now this skill, this is good. Let me check. Yeah, so when you swap pets, your pet will automatically soak up 30. Well, okay, so it's lesser guard, so I don't know if the damage reduction is going to be the same, but regular guard reduces damage your allies take by 33%, and it gets sent to your pet instead. And then you gain might when your pet receives damage. I'm actually really excited to play around with this too. I actually think these are really good changes to nature magic. This is super cool. Like honestly, super cool. A lot of times when people run like a more supportive druid build now, like currently before the patch drops, you would run marksmanship because the extra blast finisher is just so helpful for like stealthing your allies or blasting a water field. So I can totally see nature magic being a viable option. Invigorating Bond, this is like your pets. You heal around your pet when you activate the F2, and now seals off your healing power. So this is nice as well, although it competes with Protective Ward. So I don't really see people taking Invigorating Bond over Protective Ward because Druid already heals a good amount. I don't think this is necessary, but it's a good change. But I don't think the extra healing might be just overkill if you were to slot it in your build. Baseline trap cooldown reduction. I'm happy with it. This is nice here. So I don't have to go into skirmishing anymore to get reduced cooldown on healing spring. So I'm actually pretty happy about this one. Wait, oh shoot. You don't even need, oh dude, you can run marksmanship, nature magic, druid for support. I actually think that'll be super good. Although you'd probably still want beast mastery. So maybe it's nature magic, beast mastery, druid. That might be the way to go for support druid. This is really nice as well. Sikkim getting baseline cooldown reductions, fantastic. Protect Me getting baseline cooldown reductions, fantastic. Search and rescue. Oh shoot, you saw. Oh wait. Hold on a second. No, you can still take marksmanship. So marksmanship and beast mastery will compete with each other for druid. Because you get the shouts on a lower cooldown baseline now, so you don't get like the regen and the swiftness and stuff. But like if you wanted to run Protect Me and Search and Rescue, you still get like a good amount of effectiveness out from it. So we'll see. I'm actually pretty excited to play like support druid after the patch because they changed some other stuff here, which is really nice. So Grace of the Land, this is probably the PvE option. You get Alacrity instead of Might because they gave baseline Might to Rejuvenating Tides, which is the CA4 and CA5 as well. Blood Moon is fine. I like this. This is a fine change. So instead of like dazing when you swap to staff, you now daze when you enter CA, and then you bleed foes you immobilize or disable. This is really cool. Like you might be able. Oh, they left the glyph cooldowns the same, I guess, right? Oh no. They removed that trait earlier in one of the previous patches. Okay, so Druid has a lot of immobilize and CCs, so this is pretty cool. Maybe we'll see some like DPS Condi Druids after the patch. This one's weird though. So natural balance, like we lose natural stride, which gives us like movement speed and reduces the duration of incoming movement impairing conditions. And instead we get extra damage and we take reduced damage when you enter or exit CA. I don't think people will take this over Celestial Shadow because as far, if I remember correctly, the differences are only like 10%. So I don't think this is strong enough. I don't think it competes with the other options. Also, the glyph trade is really weak right now. So Celestial Shadow is by far the best in that line. So this one is interesting as well. So we no longer have Ancient Seas. People don't have to worry about getting like CC'd and then just rooted. I think they're trying to create like a DPS, like Condi DPS Druid, I think is where they're going with it rather than like power DPS Druid, which is a little unfortunate because I feel like power DPS Druid with Ancient Seeds is actually not in a bad spot right now. So this is a nerf to power DPS Druid, but yeah, I'm a little bit sad about the removal of Ancient Seeds, but it's okay. It's okay. It's a playstyle shift, I guess. Glyph alignment. These are just some glyph buffs. These are PvE changes, so that doesn't really affect anything. Cosmic Ray is the CA auto attack. So now the radius doubles. This makes it a lot easier to heal people, although 240 radius is still extremely small. It is a nice quality of life change. I really wish they made CA1 like the old version of staff auto attack for Guardian, where it just like sends out this cone shaped like massive pulse and just make it so like it heals anyone in the pulse. I think that would be pretty cool. Because you'd also be able to use it in stealth because Cosmic Ray doesn't deal damage. So you can like stack stealth and just AoE heal everyone. I think that'll be that would be like a super cool change. Lingering Lights no longer grants outgoing healing when you exit CA. This is an amazing change for support Druid. So you don't get outgoing healing anymore, but you get reduced CA cooldown every time another player is healed by a CA skill. Now, what I'm confused about is whether or not the cool, like I think what they said was it gives you stacks. It stacks some lingering light buff on you, and then I guess maybe when you leave CA, it consumes the stacks and reduces your CA cooldown, scaling with how many stacks you have. So if let's say you get 10 stacks of lingering light, when you leave CA, it removes 10 seconds off the cooldown. This could be really cool. But because the cooldown for CA doesn't start until you leave it, so I'm assuming they're using like it's stacking up and then it's consuming the stacks. As for Spiritual Reprieve, this is the support of F3. This is nice. 5-second cooldown, extra cooldown doesn't really make that big of a difference. These are all PvE changes. This change is weird. I don't think anyone ever took restorative strikes, but instead of like passively converting strike damage to healing, you now only convert strike damage to healing when you or your pet unleash. So it's a nerf to the skill that no one took anyways. So this change is really strange. This one's interesting though. So Let Loose replaces Fervent Force, grant boons to nearby allies when you use an Unleash Ambush skill. Recharge your Unleash Ambush skill when you swap weapons. I don't know if they showed what boons it gives, so depending on which boons it gives, it could be pretty nice. But this lets you get it lets you, let's say, like greatsword ambush and then longbow ambush. So it's more of like burst damage as opposed to the sustained damage you would get from like Ferocious Symbiosis. So pretty interested to play around with this. I am a little bit sad about the nerf to about the removal of Fervent Force. I totally think they should have removed Restorative Strikes instead. So like Let Loose should have replaced Restorative Strikes because Restorative Strikes is trash. Fervent Force was good for PvE. And honestly, Hammer really needed Fervent Force in PvP as well. So I'm gonna post about that and say that they should keep Fervent Force, remove Restorative Strikes, and have Let Loose take that spot instead.
And that's it for the Ranger changes. If you want to see the changes for the other medium armor classes, click on one of these two links here. And if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.